Things seem to move fast, especially since James Bonnell basically said in his letter, Gordon Brown, you should go. Your newspaper called him a smooth assassin, but nobody has been assassinated so far, has it?
No, the victim has dodged the knife. We had another resignation later, but it turned out to be for personal reasons. Not exactly a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister, but not quite the same. So we've had 2 personal resignations, 2 political resignations. The score at half-time is 2-2, still lots to play for. Gordon looks as if he's on top of the game a bit now, but he's got a long way to go to stay Prime Minister and be Prime Minister on election day in 11 months' time.
So do you think that that's what has happened today, that through the reshuffle he has enforced his position a little bit at least?
His position is weakened in all sorts of ways. The loss of these cabinet ministers is bad. Some of the promotions are not very impressive. They never are in any of our countries, are they? Reshuffles, waste of time. More important, perhaps, that he's not been able to move some ministers. He wanted to promote his lieutenant, Ed Balls, the Education Secretary, to be Finance Minister, Chancellor of the Exchequer. But in a building just across the road there, his old friend, Alistair Darling, who's taken the British Treasury through these terrible 2 years, very calm, technocratic man, very quiet, almost like a German politician, that he says, I won't go. I don't want another job. I want this job or no job. And he's called Brown's bluff. So Brown is weakened.
Yeah, but it's too early to say, are we seeing the end of Brown's premiership?
No, we haven't seen it yet. I suspect he'll probably get through to next spring, but it's a slow death. But he'll die at the hands of the electorate, not at the hands of his own MPs.
Do you think the European election result, which is going to be announced on Sunday, is going to have any impact on that? We're seeing the results now of the regional and local elections, and it looks pretty bad for Labour. Sunday's probably going to be even worse. The elections are bad when you're in government and you've been in government a long time. The local or regional or land elections are always bad. That's a fact of life. These things go in cycles. The Conservatives are coming back, but they'll be bad for incumbent governments and for mainstream parties right across Europe. The Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats haven't had a particularly good night. It's the UK Independence Party and the BNP and perhaps the Greens and other fringe parties which are doing well, parties of protest. And we know from the Dutch results or the Dutch exit polls that's the same in the Netherlands, and it'll be the same in many countries in Europe, which means the mainstream politicians have got to raise their game, do better, take charge. That's what they're paid for. They're the adults. How bad is it for British politics that we have been focusing on the Westminster Village quite a lot in recent days? Yesterday was in the European elections. We haven't heard the word Europe much, have we? No, well, the British aren't very good at covering or reporting the European elections. We're a bit sceptical about the Strasbourg Parliament, although we're probably glad it's there. It always happens that something distracts from it. Doesn't matter too much. MEPs will get elected, a few strange people will get elected, but they get elected in every country, all 27. Strange people get elected to the Strasbourg Parliament and enjoy their expenses.